friends, my name is Milind.
My name is Mronali.
We are from the MBA first year and today we are representing the topic that is the management budget. First of all, we are going towards the meaning of the material budget. So that is, what is the meaning? So the material budget shows the quantity and the cost of the material required for the production. It deals with the direct material requirement for the budget output. This budget does not include the indirect material, as such materials are treated as the part of the factory overhead. It involves the forecasting of the total quantity and the cost of the material to be used for the production process. In our introduction, that we have represent you the topic that is the material budget. So guys, the management and the material budget is nothing but the meaning is the material budget shows the quantity and the cost of the material required for the production. It deals with the direct material requirement for the budget output. This budget does not include the indirect material, as such materials are treated as the part of the factory overheads. It involves the forecasting the total quantity and the cost of the material to be used for the production process. The material budget shows the total quantities of each item of a raw material and its components. It also shows the total cost of such a material. The budget also takes the cognizance of the opening inventory and various organizational policies regarding to the inventory. The budget can be precise for the different models when the inventory is required. This type of the budget involves the forecasting of the quantity as well as the prevailing price level. The various steps need to be followed for the purpose of the drafting of a material budget. So the next one is we are going towards the objective of the material budget. So the first one is guys to determine the quantity and the value of the raw material required for the budget production. So now I will explain you this topic. So what happen in this, when we should going to any of the production industry, that time that industry will have some of the specific product which they want to finalize for their production. So suppose we have taken one of the example like the mobile sales which everyone can use. So in a mobile phone we know that there should be the different raw material which should be like the PCB plates. Then the second one is their sensors, cameras and accessories which should be contained inside the mobile. These all are the raw material of the mobile phone. So as our objective is the quantity and the value related. So when we should produce the final product, that is our mobile, that time we should know what is the value we should require, or which type of the quantity and how much quantity we are required for that specific product. So this is the first objective, that is the definite quantity and the definite amount of quantity we should know. Then the second one is to ensure the smooth production process. So as I mentioned you, if we know that what should be the specific quantity regarding our raw material, if we have the basic data regarding this and we have already the information about this, then that time we have focuses on this. So if we have the specific data, then our production process automatically goes smooth. So due to that the absence of the material and unavailability of the material condition will not be happen in production, and due to that your production line becomes very smooth. Then as we go towards to reduce the cost of production by shortening the lag timing is. So in this, first of all, I want to tell you what is the lag timing. Guys, the lag timing is a time period between you have given order to your vendor to the order which you receive from your vendors. So the time period between this process is called as lag timing. So when as we go towards to reduce the cost of production by curtaining the lag timing, so you have the specific objective or the specific quantity and the data regarding your objects or the raw material. So that time you should know how much of the raw material quantity you should require in your finalizing the product. So that timing you should give your HR department will given you the specific quantity, and the production supervisor providing them the how much quantity they should require in their production unit. So due to that, the lag time quantity will be decreases. Then our next objective is to minimize the the wastage of the material. So suppose we go towards, I will given you one of the example, that is the vegetable market. When one of the merchant of the vegetable market want to order some of the vegetable, that time he have the budget. He have what he can do. Suppose he want to sell minimum 100 tomato at a one day. So that time he will purchase only the 100 tomatoes. So guys, suppose what happen if he will purchase the 120 tomato at a day, and his sale is only for the and his sale become only for the 100 tomato. So that time his 20 tomato will be lost. So that is what, if you have gained the access of the quantity, that time your production will go to waste. So if you have the definite data regarding your budget, means you have already mentioned what budget you want and which quantity you want inside your budget, so the wastage of product will not be happen. Now next topic I will go towards that is the factors considering while preparing the material of the budget. So there are some factors, now I will explain you which affects the material budget. So the first one is the raw material required for producing the budget output. So as I given you here one of the example, that suppose you don't have the raw material, means your vendors will not provide you the raw material. So that time your budget should be vary. Your raw material will not means it become the delay. Then what happen? Your production line becomes stop at that time. So due to that, when your production line becomes stop, the efficiency of your machines, efficiency of the worker become the less. The output which they want to provide to your firm which not be satisfied, means it will not come to the equilibrium position. Then the next one is the previous records are to be used for calculating the percentage of the raw material to the total of the cost production. This percentage may be used at the basis of the computing requirement of raw material for the budget output. So in this topic, what actually do the HR department will take the previous data which is regarding to your budget. So they should actually, as we know that the financial year, in a financial year when there should be the closing stock of the material, that time what happen, your budget should be tally, your finance department will tally your budget. They should take all the record in which month you got the loss, or which month will be your loss, or which month you faces the loss. So that time when you face the loss because of some environmental condition or because of some external factor, so the data will give you the definite definite quantity of the material which you want from your vendors. So the next one is required the opening and closing inventory balance should be considered. So as I mentioned you already, the closing and the opening stock of the material you should require. So as we go towards the next, if the availability of the raw material is a seasonal in a nature, then this factor should be considered while drawing the budget. Means I have given you the vegetables example, the merchant which sold some vegetables like or fruits like the tomatoes. So if he sold or if he purchased a lot of tomatoes, that time he will faces the loss. So the next one is attention must be paid to the price and trade in a market. So what should be happen in a market? It's also important. It should also affect on the material budget. Suppose you should not change with the market change, then absolutely your material will not sold in a market, or your stock will be become as it is. So it's all about my topic. Now the next one is explain you, my friend.
I will explain you the advantages of material budget. So the first one is, it is helpful in analyzing the quantity of material required for the budget period. So from this sentence, as I explain you, when we manufacturing one of the product like mobile phone, that time we require data regarding the raw material. So you should know that how much quantity of raw material you should require inside or assembled to your mobile phone. From this, you will decide the actual quantity of you should require for your manufacturing budget. This budget is helpful for estimating the material prices during the production period. So this statement, I want to give you one of the example, that is the mobile phone. When we manufacturing the mobile phone, that time we required the raw material like PCB plate, cameras, sensor, batteries, frames of mobile, etc. There are raw materials required for the mobile phones assembly, required data of raw material required, and we also want their actual quantity. So due to that, we should get the finalized data and actual quantity required for the assembly of mobile phone. The next benefit is it makes the process of inventory planning smoother. This sentence mentions that when you have the actual data or quantity according to our production requirement, so it will more easier to plan inventory purchase process. As we have taken the example of mobile phone, if we have a fixed quantity required for the mobile production of raw material, so we can easily doing the planning of inventory process. As we comes towards the next advantage, that is it allows for the longer purchase lead time. So as my friend Milin mentioned us, the lead time is the time between the raw material order given by the particular firm to the vendors, to the order getting to the firm who make the product finalized. So as we already have the data regarding the actual quantity required for the production and the raw material already available in inventory. So from this we know that how much material we require in future period. This will make the inventory planning process more smoother. The next advantage is it helps in ensuring better supplier relationship. This statement mentions us that if we have the actual information regarding the data which we want for our firm, then we will provide correct information regarding the raw material required to our firm from the vendors. Due to this, the relationship between the customer, firm and the vendors becomes healthy.
Now, as we have seen the theory of this budget material. So now we are going towards the numerical. So first of all, we've solved the first numerical. That is, we have given it. The Son company is a maker. The main stack. The company would like to maintain the 20,000 of the yards of a fabric in ending inventory. The beginning of the fabric inventory is expected yards of the fabric needed for the sales is 90,000. So compute the yards of the fabric that Son need to purchase. So now, as we have going towards the solution for this, first of all, we should write here the given data. So as we have given that the raw material demand, which is the 90,000 we have given. After that, we have given the ending inventory of the raw material. Ending inventory of a raw material. As we know that it is the ending in an inventory of the raw material, therefore we should add it in a previous amount. That is, we should add the 20,000 in a 90,000. After that, we are going towards the beginning inventory of the raw material. Beginning inventory of the raw material, which is 25,000. As it is the beginning inventory of the raw material, so we should minus it from our previous data. So after we have calculating this, we get the how much purchase we require. The how much purchase of the fabric, how much purchase of fabric required is. So when we calculate this total amount, so we get our answer, that is the 85,000. So this is our final answer for this question first. Now we are going towards the second question. So guys, now our second numerical is The Playtime Toys estimates that it will produces the 2 lakh 3,000 dolls during the coming year. Each doll requires the 2 shoes which will purchase from an outside supplier. The beginning inventory of the shoes is at 20,000. The target ending inventory is 18,000 shoes. The number of the shoes that should be purchased during the year is. So first of all, we have right here the given data. That is the raw material demand for production. The raw material demand for a production. So here, what we can do, as the doll requires 2 shoes for 1 doll, so therefore we should multiply this amount by 2. So which is equal to 406,000. Now, the next we have given the ending inventory. The ending inventory of a raw material which is 18,000, and the last one is the beginning inventory of raw material. Beginning inventory of raw material, which is 20,000. So as per the previous numerical, we know that the ending inventory of raw material, we will add this, and the beginning inventory of raw material, we will subtract this amount from the previous one. So as we have asked how much to purchase, so when we calculate this amount, we will get that 4,04,000. So this is our final answer. So guys, now we have just solved some of the numericals. So now we are coming towards some theory parts. So that is, as we have at the purchase budget. So guys, as you will all know that when as our month will be end, everyone we have the month ending, we should make one of the budget. And for a new month, we have prepared for some of the material, or we have make one of the list that is related to which contents or the which material we should require in the monthly budget. In that, we should take some of the sugar, some of the spices, some contents of the salt, then the daily basic needs which we contain. So like that, we also have some of the purchase budget. So in a purchase budget, there should be 2 costs comes under it, which is the fixed cost and a variable cost. So variable, which is not the measurable cost, but the fixed components which are very major inside it. So under the fixed cost, there should be comes 2 costs. That is the machine cost, and the second one is a labor cost. So guys, as you all will know that the machine cost, when in our industry we have purchased one of the machine, so that is the fixed cost we have pay for it. Means the machine contains on the daily basis the same electricity supply and the same maintenance cost. So therefore, as it is the fixed and it should be consuming the fixed amount of the money, so therefore it comes under the machine cost. Then the next one is the labor cost. As you all will know that when you should hire the labor inside your company, that time suppose in your company there should not be any raw material should be available, or the material should or the labor should be come inside your industry. So that time you should pay them to the wages. So it is necessary. You should not tell them you don't provide them the wages on that day, because the work should not be available. So this is not fair. So therefore, this is the fixed amount which you should produce or which you should give to your employee. Then we know that there should be some major losses which will be happen inside the budget. Suppose you should do some of the production and the machinery. So what happened in that, there should be the three types under this content. The first one is the production should be under the equilibrium. The production should outside the equilibrium, and the production at the equilibrium. So what happened when you should purchase any product and you should do the manufacturing of that product? That time, suppose the capacity of your machine is 10,000 job at a one day, but you should produce only the 2,000 job at a one day. So what happens? The capacity is 10,000 and you should produce the 2,000 job. So that time the capacity which we should use is very less. And due to that, what happens? You should switch off your all the machines. And after that, when you should get some of the contract, that time you should the material the raw material when you got it, that time you should also provide that time you should also use the machinery and on it. So due to that some of the losses like the energy losses will be happen. So the cost your fixed cost will be varying. After that, when your production is beyond your equilibrium limit, that time what happens? Suppose you have the 10,000 job you should produce on a one day, and after that you should produce the minimum 12,000 job. So what happens? The wear and tear of the machine should be happen. So in a wear and tear of the machinery, what happens? When you should produces the lot of job, that time some of the parts which are inside the machinery, they should be wear and tear, and due to that the loss of the machinery will be happen, or the damage should be happen. So you should make the damage. So you should make the damage cost, and it should be affect on your budget. So this should comes under the fixed cost. Now some terminology I should give you the examples of some terminology inside this chapter. That is, first one is a lead time. So as I mentioned here, the lead time period is the period that should be between the order giving to order taking. That is, suppose you have given one of the order to you order to the vendors. So vendor should produce your raw material, and after producing it, they should provide you in a 3 days, 4 days, or the time they should require. So when you get that order from your vendors, so the time between this period is called as the lead time. And the second one is a ideal time. In an ideal time, what happens? The labor and machines are without working. Means if you don't have the production or the raw material available inside your company, so that time the time should become under the ideal time. Means the worker and machine both don't have any job. So due to that your efforts and your cost will go to the loss. So after that, there should be some of the aspect which we should consider under the purchase budget. So in the aspect we should consider, first one is the quality of the material, and the second one is a lead time, then the third one is a rate, and the fourth one is a preferences. After that, there should be also one which should be contained inside it, that is the budget allowed by the finance department to be used. So first one is the quality of the material. In the quality product, as you all will know that, suppose one of the vendor which given you the suppose we take one of the example of the Cadbury of the chocolate. So for that we require the raw material like the chocolate, sugars, or the choco syrup, or all that. So suppose they should provide the chocolate in a 50 rupees for a 1 kg, and the one vendor will provide you at a 40 rupees. But what happens? The taste of that chocolate should be it's not in a good content. It will not be okay. So of the 40 rupees, and those who are provided in a 50 rupees, they provide the good quality. So that time you should take the chocolate which is at a higher rate. Why you should purchase this if it have the higher rate? So you have purchased it because you maintain your quality of your product. So this comes under the quality. Then next one is a lead time. As I mentioned already, the time period between the order given to the order taken. Then the next one is a rate of any specific product. Suppose you have the higher rate, but the quality which you get from your vendors, that is the best. Then that time you should prefer to that rate. Then the next one is a test and preferences. So the taste and preferences comes under if you have any food company. So as I mentioned you already the example of the Cadbury. So it comes under the taste and preferences. So some of the people who should like the choco chip from the Switzerland, choco chip from the Canada, then Netherlands and England. So everyone should be provide you the different costs. Suppose we should assume the cost, that is the choco seed we have provided from the Switzerland by 50 rupees per kg. Then after that, choco seed from the Canada, that is 60 rupees per kg, and the choco seed from the Netherlands, that is 70 rupees. But as per your quality and as per your the quality and the material which provide there, that should depend, and you should consider which you want to purchase. So therefore, the taste and preferences also come inside. The taste and preferences also come inside of it. So So therefore, this should be the important aspect under the test and preferences. So guys, this should be suppose you then after that I have mentioned one of the department, that is the finance department. So the as we are at a financial industry or the financial department of the industry, so that time actually what happens, as we are at the topic of the budget management, so the financial industry or the financial managers will provide you one of the budget, and in that budget you should produce your product in that budget. So sometimes they should provide you the high budget. So if they have provided you the high budget, then absolutely it's good for you. But your budget should be big. If they should provide you the budget of the 10,000 and the material cost will going towards the 12,000, means 2,000 more. If it contain the quality material like the 2,000 more, then absolutely your financial department provide you some suggestion that you should compromise in your product. But this is not good at that time. So what happened in that? Due to that, the production department and the financial department, in that there should be some relation collapse happen. So due to that, the financial department produces the major role inside that. So therefore, what happened? The financial department produces the main role in an aspect. The financial department, if they have the good content regarding your raw material and regarding the material which you want in an industry for an annual year, then it absolutely provide you the good financial support, and they should prepare one of the balance sheet, and after that, from that record, they should give you the financial all over the material.
Thank you so much guys for watching our video.
And if you like it, then please click on the button of the like. And if you have any feedback regarding our video, then please share it with the comments. Thank you so much.